Once upon a time, under the hot Libyan sun, a man fought for his life against the waves of the Mediterranean Sea. His name was Samuel. He wasn't a soldier or a sailor. He was just a poor Nigerian boy chasing a dream that refused to die. His eyes were wide open, red from salt water and sleeplessness. In one hand, he held a plastic bag knotted 3 times. Inside was his treasure, his WAEC certificate, a passport photograph, and a small picture of his mother, Ezekiel and Matthew, his 2 younger brothers. As the boat rocked violently, Samuel held onto the wooden plank beside him. Cries and prayers filled the air. People were vomiting. Some had fainted, but Samuel whispered only one thing: "I must make it for Mama." 7 years earlier in Nigeria, Samuel was the first son of a struggling family in Benin City. After their father died, his mother started frying akara by the roadside. Samuel, a brilliant boy, had to drop out after secondary school to help feed the family. But life was unkind. Every job interview required connections and they had none. One day, a friend told him about a journey. A small risk, the friend said. "You go past Libya, then cross water, enter Europe. Once you reach there, your life go better." It sounded like madness, but hunger has a way of making madness sound like logic. So Samuel sold his father's old generator and used the money to join the desert route. The journey through the Sahara almost killed him. He saw people die from thirst. One woman gave birth beside a dead body, but Samuel pressed on. His body got thinner, but his heart got stronger. By the time he finally reached Italy, he looked like a skeleton wrapped in skin. There was no mansion waiting, no helper, no golden jobs, only cold streets, racism, hunger, and police harassment. He slept under a bridge in Milan alongside other Africans. Some nights, rats crawled over him. He worked on construction sites without papers, lifting bricks until his hands bled. His wage, £20 a day, sometimes £15. He didn't complain. He only thought of his mother and his brothers, and the dream that one day he will return home a successful man. When he finally saved £5,000, he called Ezekiel, his direct younger brother. "I want to buy a land, any place. Let it be our future." Ezekiel was excited. "I go handle am. No fear, you go like the place." He sent another 2,000 for foundation, and then another £3,000 for block work. Years passed. Samuel didn't buy clothes. He didn't eat at restaurants. He didn't chase after women. He built a house he had never seen. When he heard their mother was sick, he sent money for hospital bills. When Matthew gained admission into school, he paid the fees. His family at home were eating and looking fresh, while he was suffering day and night in vain. In his 6th year abroad, he was able to rent a room. He got a small job at a carpentry shop. He even started saving money to open the transport company once he returned. He called his fiancée, Rita, one evening. "Wait for me, fine girl. Next year, we go marry." Rita cried on the phone. She had been faithful. She had believed in him. Ezekiel would sometimes send blurry photos of the house under construction. The picture showed half walls and some zinc. Samuel smiled each time because if the house wasn't finished, it still existed, and that was enough. Exactly 7 years after he left Nigeria, Samuel walked into an internet cafe and booked a flight. £650. The most expensive thing he had ever bought, but the joy in his chest was priceless. He printed the ticket, folded it carefully, and placed it inside his Bible. He held the picture of his mother and brothers once again and whispered, "We go eat at the same table this time. I'm coming home, Mama." He called his brothers. They screamed in joy. Ezekiel said, "Your room they wait for you, bro. Na ties we dey fix now." Matthew added, "Your bathroom self get jacuzzi, you go shock." Samuel laughed until tears filled his eyes. It was happening. His sacrifice was not in vain. He didn't tell Rita the exact date. He wanted it to be a surprise. On the day of his departure, Samuel wore his best clothes, a simple white shirt, black jeans, well-polished shoes, and carried only one bag. Inside the bag were his life savings and a bottle of imported perfume for his mother. He had imagined this return 1,000 times. At the airport, he took selfies with his boarding pass. He posted on Facebook, "Benin, your boy is coming home." As the plane took off, he looked out of the window. Beneath him was Europe, the land that broke and built him. He closed his eyes and whispered a final prayer. "God, please, don't let this be a dream." Meanwhile, in the compound somewhere in Benin, Ezekiel and Matthew were laughing over bottles of beer. You tell am say house dey complete. Yes na, the fool go think say we build palace for am. Ha, he dey come back this week o. Make he come na, land don go, money don finish, wetin man go do? Make he shout if he wan shout. They laughed louder than before. As far as they were concerned, Samuel was just an ATM they had unplugged, and they had no intention of plugging him back in. As the plane touched down in Lagos, Samuel's heart raced. His palms sweated and his lips trembled with joy. "I'm home," he whispered. But far away, the land he bought with hard labor money was already sold. The house he dreamt of was never built, and the people he trusted were waiting to bury him emotionally. The sun in Lagos didn't care who you were, whether you were a returning king or a broken hustler. It shone with the same wicked heat. And on that morning, Samuel stepped out of Murtala Mohammed International Airport with sweaty palms and a hopeful heart. He dragged his small travel bag across the pavement, looked around for familiar faces and saw no one. No Ezekiel, no Matthew, not even a hired taxi holding a cardboard that said "Welcome, bro." He smiled awkwardly and shook his head. Maybe traffic held them up. This is Nigeria after all. But as minutes turned into an hour and the call tones rang unanswered, something heavy began to stir in his chest. He called again. Ezekiel's line was switched off. Matthew's own rang twice and cut off. Maybe he's inside the bus and his phone slipped, he said to himself, trying to stay calm. Samuel had changed. 7 years abroad had carved the innocence from his face, but the streets of Lagos didn't care. He waited for a taxi and negotiated like a stranger. "Take me to Benin City." The driver looked at him like he had grown horns. "Bros, you dey whine me? From Lagos to Benin? You go charter car. That one na 75,000 naira. 70 what? Oga, dollar don rise, everything don change." Samuel laughed bitterly. He wasn't rich. He was just prepared. He reluctantly paid and sat back in the car, watching Nigeria pass by. Nothing felt familiar. Even the air smelled different, like hot sand and disappointment. It was late in the evening when the taxi turned into a narrow street that led to his mother's house, the old house he had grown up in. The car slowed down and then stopped. Samuel frowned. "Why are you stopping here?" "This is the address you give me now. Now here be number 16 where you write." He stepped out slowly. The house was still standing, but barely. The zinc roof was old and rusted. The walls looked like they had survived a war, and there was no sign of the house he paid to be built. A small girl sitting by the gutter corner of the house stared at him. "Who you dey find, Oga?" she asked. Mama Charity. This used to be her house." The girl stood up and pointed. "She still there inside, but she dey sick. She no dey come out like before." Samuel's legs moved on their own. He pushed the gate open and walked into the compound. No dog barked. No brother shouted his name. Just silence and the distant sound of someone coughing inside. He walked to the door and knocked once, then pushed it open. There she was, his mother, sitting on the same wooden chair from 10 years ago, wrapped in faded Ankara, her legs swollen, her eyes hollow. Her face lit up when she saw him. Samuel, she whispered. Her voice was dry like the harmattan wind. He dropped his bag and rushed to her side, kneeling. Mama, what happened to you? Why are you like this? Where is the house? Where is Ezekiel? Where is Matthew? She touched his face with weak fingers, smiling through her tears. So you didn't die. They told me you drowned. Samuel froze. Who told you that?
Your brothers. They said they heard from someone abroad that your boat capsized. I prayed every night. I begged God.
Her body shook as she cried.
I waited for you. But they said I should not disturb you, that I should rest, that you are no longer alive.
Samuel sat on the floor, his heart breaking like dry wood. His brothers lied. They told their mother he was dead so she wouldn't ask questions. No land, no house, no Rita, no welcome. He left the house the very next morning before dawn. He wanted answers, and he wanted them with fire. He went straight to the land site his brother had claimed they were building on, the one he had sent millions for. What he saw was not a house, just an overgrown piece of land, empty and used by goats as a playground. A woman passing by recognized him. "Ah, you be the guy who buy this land before?" "Before?" Samuel asked, confused. "Yes now. Dem sell am again last year to one man wey get pure water factory. I hear say e dey court now sef. The land get problem." Samuel didn't reply. He just stood there. The sun was blazing. His heart was colder than harmattan. He called Ezekiel again. This time, the line rang and he picked. "Hello, Ezekiel." There was silence on the other end. "Where you dey?" Samuel asked. Ezekiel coughed nervously. "Ah, Sam, bro, you don't come. We no know say you go reach that yesterday. I dey church for vigil." "Vigil? Okay, I go wait for you at mama house. You must come today." He ended the call. By 4 p.m., Ezekiel arrived, wearing new clothes and carrying a nylon bag of noodles and milk, as if that would blind anyone. He entered with a fake smile. "Sammy boy, our Oyibo man, see as you fresh." Samuel didn't smile. He sat down, arms folded. "Where's the house, Ezekiel?" The room went cold. Their mother, lying down on the mattress, turned her head. Ezekiel stammered. We had some setbacks. The block where we buy, the block where we buy, no be good one. Rain come for scatter all of them. Then land issue come, landlord lawyer problem. You know Nigeria now. Samuel stood up slowly. So the land was sold again. "Ah, who tell you that one? Answer me." Ezekiel sighed. "We no wan tell you before because you feel vex, but na true. We sell am. Small money enter. We use part of am do things. Mama hospital bills, Matthew school something, and some other things." "You used everything?" Samuel interrupted. His voice was low, but he shook the wall. "You sold my dream. You buried it. You told mama that I was dead. You wore my clothes, ate my sweat, and then you spat on my struggle." Ezekiel tried to speak again, but Samuel raised his hand to cut him off. "No, don't talk. I'm not finished." He turned to his mother and said, "Mama, the money I sent was over 10 million naira. It wasn't for rent. It wasn't for parties. It was for this family." Their mother started to cry. Samuel walked out feeling less concerned. That evening, he decided to look for Rita. He found her family's compound not far from the market. An old woman opened the gates. "Rita? She's not here. She's married now. She lives in Warri." "Married? Yes now. After all, your people said you had died." He blinked slowly. The world around him spinned. She waited for 2 years. Then they came and collected the bride price back. Samuel didn't even ask who they were. He already knew. His own blood brothers were the reason everything damaged. That night, Samuel sat outside his mother's house, barefoot, staring at the stars. "I gave them everything, and they gave me nothing but betrayal and wickedness. Chai! God, why me?" He looked up to the sky. Tears fell down his eyes, but this time they were not weak tears. They were silent promises. "You took everything from me," he whispered into the night, "but I would take it all back with interest." The cock crowed over Benin like it always did, loud, rude, and unaware of the wars happening inside the heart of men. Samuel didn't sleep the night before. Not because he was afraid, but because he was planning. The money left, the mind to multiply it. He stared at his phone screen, logged into his European bank account app, and saw it again. £3,817. That was all he had left from 7 years of blood and hunger. But it was enough. Samuel sat with a jotter and a pen and wrote 2 words: start cement. He remembered how the construction business abroad worked. He had offloaded cement, carried blocks, and watched contractors beg for steady supply. He knew how scarcity of materials delayed projects. That was it. That was his door. He changed £3,000 to Naira through a trusted returnee contract. The rate was fair. He got 4.5 million Naira. No one knew what he was planning. His brothers avoided him. His mother kept to herself. But in town, Samuel was about to rise. He found a small space beside a major road in the city, just off a Kewan road. A fenced but abandoned corner with broken zinc and wide weeds. The landlord didn't ask questions, he just wanted payment. Samuel paid 500,000 upfront for 12 months. He bought a small signboard: Sama Cement Depot, reliable delivery, reliable price. At first, no one noticed, but in 2 weeks' time, his name started to spread. Because he didn't cheat customers, he sold full bags, not sand-filled bags. He gave small discounts to struggling bricklayers, and he wrote receipts, wore clean shirts, and showed up early. A site supervisor told his boss, "That cement guy will get biabia. You know they do anyhow. If he say 50 bags, he go give you 50 bags. No cheating, no delay." By the 3rd month, Samuel had moved from a small corner space to a rented open yard. He now had 3 delivery boys, his own tricycle with Sama Cement boldly written on it. In the community, whispers began. Is this not that one that returned from abroad that his brothers chop his money? It's the same person, no, but see him now, he don't open big cement industry. He didn't fight them, he didn't shout. He just moved, and now God don't dey fight for him. Even as beer parlors, his name was hot topic. You hear say Ezekiel don't dey hide face. Them say him brother go sue him, and if you no dey careful, him go jail. Ezekiel began to sweat. One morning, a man in a sharp blue suit walked up to Ezekiel's gate and knocked. "Mr. Ezekiel?" "Yes." "Court summons. You are being sued for criminal conversion, land fraud, and identity manipulation. You are to appear in Benin Magistrate Court on Friday by 10 a.m. The man handed over the envelope and walked away. Ezekiel nearly collapsed. He rushed inside and called Matthew. "This guy won't kill me. In go court." Matthew didn't answer. He had started working shifts as a petrol station attendant. Life wasn't smiling at him either. Ezekiel called Mama. She said one thing: "I warned you. He destroyed your brother. Now you would have to face the consequences." By the 6th month, Samuel was supplying cement to 4 housing estates and 3 churches. He was now working with Dangote reps directly. He bought a warehouse space at the outskirts of town and branded it Sama Wholesale Cement Depot. He hired a secretary, a delivery team, an accountant. People were shocked. No be this boy wey dem chop him money that time when they abroad. Na him just buy Hilux, black color. Haba, God dey fight for person o. Samuel didn't say a word. He just built one day at a time. When the court day came, people filled the premises like it was a Nollywood shoot. Samuel stood in the courtroom, well-dressed, calm and focused. The lawyer read out the charges. The defendant received over 10 million naira in construction frauds under false pretense for a property never built. He also forged receipts and lied to their mother that the plaintiff was dead. We demand a full refund, apology, and criminal sentencing. Ezekiel tried to deny everything until the bank statements, voice notes, and WhatsApp screenshots were presented. The judge frowned. "You told your mother her son was dead just to steal his money." "Sir, I didn't. It was Matthew too." Silence. After 2 sittings, the verdict came. "This court finds you guilty on all counts. You are hereby sentenced to 10 years in prison without option of fine." Gaps filled the court. Ezekiel screamed.
Samuel, please, we are brothers. Please, help me, forgive me.
Samuel looked at him cold, silently, and then walked out. 2 weeks after Ezekiel was taken to prison, Matthew showed up at Samuel's warehouse gate. His head was low, his slippers were torn, and his eyes was hollow. I want to work for you, brother. Anything you ask, I'll do it. People said Samuel should send him away, but he didn't. He gave him a blue uniform and put him in charge of loading and offloading cement, sweat, dust, and sun. Word spread fast. Guy, you hear say Matthew dey work for him brother now as houseboy. Wonder shall never end. But God is good oh, this life Customers would whisper when they saw Matthew carrying bags on his shoulder. Isn't that the same one that ate his brother's money? Yes, so see punishment of the wicked. Samuel never insulted him, never raised his voice. The silence that he gave to Matthew hurt more than slaps. By the 9th month of starting his business, Samuel did something big. He demolished the old-looking family house, and in its place, he built a 5-bedroom duplex, painted cream and gold, with a front garden and a gate that sang when you pressed the bell. Mama couldn't believe it. Samuel, you did this? Yes, Mama. This one has no lies in it. This is your palace. Tears poured down his mother's face. The compound was full that day. Neighbors, children, even pastors who came to bless the new house. But the only person that was absent was the man who once claimed to be the first son, Israel, rotting in prison. That night, as Samuel sat in his new sitting room, holding a cold drink and looking out the balcony, Matthew walked in silently to mop the ties. They didn't speak, but as Matthew bent down and wiped the floor, he paused, then said, "Brother, thank you for not killing me." Samuel chuckled softly. "I don't need to. Some pain is louder than death." The morning sun spread over Benin like liquid fire, painting over every rooftop gold. Samuel stood on the balcony of his new mansion, dressed in a crisp white shirt, holding a cup of hot coffee. He wasn't thinking about the 7 years of pain he had endured abroad, or even the betrayal that nearly destroyed him. He was thinking about one thing: how sweet victory tasted when it was served to those who never believed you'd rise again. By now, Samuel's name had become a story on every lip. The women at the marketplaces talked about his story. Men sitting at beer parlors argued about how one guy where them cheat turned oga overnight. You hear say Samuel built that big mansion? Yes, so now the same Samuel when him brothers finish him money abroad though. I beg, God they fight person battle. You see as that him big head brother Ezekiel they rot for prison. It good for him now. Now Matthew I pity you. Imagine person own brother they use him do houseboy. The gossips gave Matthew no peace. Whenever he walked to the market to buy cement supplies for the warehouse, people would point at him. See him now that brother wake up in brother sweat. You don't even get shame. See as him carry bag of cement for back like ordinary laborer. Matthew's heart burned with shame, but he dared not complain. He was lucky that Samuel even allowed him to eat in the same house. In just 1 year, Samuel's cement depot transformed from a small roadside shop to a cement empire. He had 3 large trucks with his name boldly painted on them. He opened 2 new branches, one in Asaba and another in Warri. Big construction companies now called him directly. Samuel didn't just sell cement, he became a symbol of trust, grit and resilience. One day, a well-dressed contractor visited the warehouse and shook his hand. "Young man, I've heard of you everywhere. People say you are the only supplier who delivers on time and doesn't cheat. I'm awarding you a big contract for my estate project. Can you handle 1,000 bags monthly?" Samuel smiled slightly. "Sir, I can handle 5,000 bags if you want." It was on that day that his first million in profit entered the account. Matthew watched his brother rise like a phoenix from ashes. Every success of Samuel was a mirror of his failure. One afternoon, while Samuel was discussing with a supplier inside his air-conditioned office, Matthew was outside sweating, loading 40 kg cement bags onto a truck. Children passed by and pointed. "See am, na oga brother be that. How person go fall like this?" Matthew had it all. The whispers, the mocking laughter. He tried to hide his face, but he couldn't hide from shame.
One night, he approached Samuel while he was sitting outside sipping a cold drink.
Brother, I want to say I'm sorry. I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but this life as your houseboy is killing me. Samuel looked at him without pity. Didn't you kill me first? You buried me while I was alive. You sold my land and told Mama I was dead. Matthew, this is messy. I could have left you to beg on the streets like a dog. Matthew lowered his head, his lips trembling. I know, and I will never forget. While Matthew suffered outside, Ezekiel's fate inside prison was worse. The proud man who once boasted about being the first son was now washing toilets for prison warders. His name had become a curse in the community. Whenever Mama visited him, he would cry like a child.
Mama, please. I beg, let me beg somewhere. I can't stay here for 10 years. I'm dying.
Mama would return home, her eyes red, and beg Samuel, my son, please, can't you forgive him? Samuel would shake his head slowly. Mama, forgiveness is not freedom. Let him stay there. That's the price for wickedness. I've forgiven him, but that is not an excuse to set him free. He has to suffer the consequences of what he did. Exactly 2 years after Samuel started his business, he held a grand housewarming party for his new 7-bedroom mansion on the outskirts of Benin. The gates were painted gold, the compound tied, and 2 black SUVs stood in front. The whole neighborhood came out to see. Women gossiped, men nodded in respect, and Mama cried with joy as she walked into her new palace. Samuel, my son, I never thought I would live in this kind of house. You have made me proud. He hugged her and whispered, Mama, this house is your crown. You suffered too much. From today, you will rest. Even the local church choir came to sing that day. But there was one thing everyone noticed. Matthew, who was wearing a blue uniform, serving drinks like an ordinary house help. Is that not his own brother? A guest asked. Yes, so that's his punishment. Later that evening, as the guests were leaving, Samuel called Matthew to sit with him in the big living room. Do you know why I made you work for me? Matthew nodded silently. It's not just to punish you. It's to teach you that life is not about greed. You thought betrayal would make you rich, but look at you now. Matthew's eyes was filled with tears. Brother, I don't need money anymore. I just want peace. I just want Mama to forgive me, and you too. Samuel leaned back. Work here for 1 more year. Earn your dignity back. Then I will set you free. By the next week, Samuel's story had become a legend in the community. People used his life as a parable. If you do bad to someone, you better remember Samuel and Matthew. I beg, no be everything bujuju. Some people just get grace and hard work like Samuel. Me, I won't go learn business from that guy. Now brain he used bounce back. He no even fight. 3 years later, Samuel drove to the prison in a shiny SUV. When Ezekiel saw him, he ran to the visitor's glass crying.
Samuel, please. Sammy, I beg. Help me. I'm a broken man. I don't get anything left.
Samuel looked at him for a long moment and said, Ezekiel, I gave you trust and you gave me betrayal. I gave you brotherhood, you gave me debt. Ezekiel, I'll pay for your release when you've served half of your sentence. Maybe 5 years in prison will teach you what 7 years abroad taught me, the value of pain. Ezekiel cried like a baby, but Samuel walked away. By the time 5 years passed, Samuel was the multi-millionaire, owning 3 cement warehouses across Edo State, with trucks running every day. His mother lived like a queen. Matthew, after serving his time as a houseboy, was forgiven and allowed to run a small depot Samuel set up for him. But the gossip never ended. You see that big man Samuel? His brothers betrayed him, but look at him now. God don't turn his pain to power. The moral lesson of this story reminds us to never let betrayal break you. Let it build you. Sometimes, the people closest to you will dig a grave for your dreams, but if you stay calm, focused and faithful, what they buried will grow into a tree they cannot cut down. True revenge is not noise or violence. It is rising so high that your silence becomes their punishment. Let your pain become your power and your scars become your story.